All right, step number 11, and this is setting up our advertising campaign. Now, I think I mentioned this in the previous step, but it's very important that we advertise and have some type of marketing strategy going into our first product launch because we have 0 reviews and we have a brand and a product that, frankly, no one's ever even heard of. So, we are going to leverage advertising, 2 different campaign types, in order to place our product at the top of the search results so we have a better chance of converting and making sales early on. So at this point, we're probably into the last 1 or 2 weeks of this 90-day journey if you're part of the program. And you should begin to see some of your products arrive at Amazon at this point. So it doesn't hurt to go ahead and to create your advertising campaign at this point because they really won't run until you have inventory stocked. So it's a good thing to set it up now, and then we can always activate it or schedule it to start at a later date. So when I say advertising, we are going to leverage Amazon's in-platform advertising manager, which is called Amazon PPC. That's what we refer to it as, pay-per-click advertising. So as a very high level of this, you will only pay as an advertiser whenever a customer clicks on your advertisement. I'm about to share with you some of the advertisements that you may or may not be aware of that are already on Amazon. But if I'm a customer and I go ahead and I click this sponsored advertisement, meaning that this seller has put their listing at the top of the listing page, if I click it, that advertiser and that seller is going to be charged, let's just say 50 or 60 cents. You do not pay per impression or per the number of views of your advertisement. That's really the key idea of how you spend your money through Amazon's integrated PPC platform. Okay, so let's discuss some of these advertising locations. And it's very easy to tell when someone is a seller is paying to put their ad in front of you. And that's because there is always a sponsored eye icon shown here on the right-hand side. That is at the bottom right of every single advertisement, and it just tells the customer that, hey, someone's paid to artificially place that their listing or their banner in this spot. So as a customer, just keep that in mind. For us, there's a few different locations. This seller right here that I have bordered in yellow, that they are using what's known as a sponsored brands campaign. More to come on that. And we'll actually create one of these advertisements together. This is the first thing you see when someone types in, for example, head covers golf. This is a banner style. It allows you to put an image, your brand logo, as well as even a video, which is what I plan on sharing with you. So it's a great way to show all of your products at the very top of the page and quickly capture a lot of the market share of people searching for this keyword term. Now this is about halfway down that same page, and this is just another sponsored brands ad. And this seller has a video playing, and it also promotes their single product here. And we can see sponsored right here. It's not always in the bottom right. I know I just said that. Sometimes it's above, but typically it's the bottom right. All right, on the left-hand side, these 2 sellers are using a sponsored products campaign. Just be familiar with this terminology. I'll explain it all later. These are 2 sellers that have paid to put their listing, their detail page at the top of the search results, hoping that you'll click it, and then you ultimately will make that sale. So this is just one line item down on the first listing page. Next is a sponsored display ad, and this is just a small banner at the top of a competitor's listing. So this Magnetic Golf Club covers, this brand is paying to put their advertisement on this competitor listing. It's a great way to steal some of the traffic or steal some of the buyers away from your competition if you have a superior product or maybe at a better price point. For example, if I'm a customer and I'm on this listing, I'm not quite sure if I want to purchase that or not. It's $30.99. And then I see that this one's on sale for $11.99 and it includes Prime shipping. I may click this display ad, which will take me to the detail page, and ultimately maybe I'll make that sale. I'm not huge on the display ads because it's very small and you still pay a decent amount of money per click. I really like to focus on the sponsored brands and the sponsored products campaigns. All right, next is just a section here where it says 4 stars and above. And these are sponsored, believe it or not. You may look at these and say, oh, Amazon's just recommending these to me. No, each one of these sellers is paying to promote their listing and to put that thumbnail of their listing on this detail page. So this is just scrolled down just below the buy box. So those are really all the main areas which sellers advertise on Amazon, and I'll share with you a couple of those. But first, we need to discuss our marketing or advertising strategy. And what I like to teach my students and apply to my own business is the full funnel approach. This is very common across marketers and marketing agencies. And that's really the idea of what we need to do is we need to take this large pool of customers and filter it down until we can convert just the select few that are willing to make the purchase. So we'll start out by running a sponsored brands campaign that will drive awareness of our brand, awareness of our product. It will allow customers to consider it, to say, maybe I could use that. That looks like a interesting product, but I'm not fully ready to make the buying decision. And then maybe on that same date or a later date, they'll come back, they'll type in the search results, or they'll type in your brand name, and then you'll convert that sale. This is much better than what many beginner Amazon sellers first start out with, which is they only focus on conversion. So they have this unknown brand name, this unknown product, and they expect, hey, with 0 reviews, I'm just going to put my product at the top of the listing page, and I'm just going to convert sales from day one. That never happens. So that's why it's very important to start out by driving awareness and then consideration, and ultimately we'll use a sponsored products campaign to convert those buyers. So I know I've mentioned this quite some time. There's really at this moment in time, there's 4 different types of campaigns that we can run as Amazon sellers through Amazon's integrated platform. The first is sponsored products. Again, this is great for conversions. This puts your product at the top of the listing or on other competitor detail pages, and it allows you to just gain a lot of the traffic. When I was at a session actually at Amazon Accelerate, one of the advertising agencies, a spokesperson that was there, she mentioned that just by focusing so much on sponsored products and conversion type campaigns is you don't have the ability to drive new growth, right? So you're restricted based on the amount of people that are typing in that search term. However, with an awareness and consideration campaign, you are building new growth. Although you may not convert as many sales, you are building up growth for your product and demand for your product, and then you can use sponsored products in addition to convert those sales. That always really stuck with me. So these other 3, sponsored brands, sponsored display, and sponsored TV, are all great for awareness and consideration. For us, I just want us to focus on, for now, the sponsored brands campaign for awareness and consideration, and then sponsored products will run in tandem for conversions. If you have interest in display or TV campaigns, I can also help you out with that. I'm well versed in it. I just think that's more of an advanced technique that we'll progress into if you stick with the program after the 90 days, and I can share exactly how to do that. So let's talk money now. This is our budgeting strategy. If you recall from one of the first lessons, I introduced how much you should at least save up, and that was about $2,000, which included $250 for your advertising budget. Now, for you may have $500, you may have $10. This number is arbitrary. I'm just using this as an example for our exercise, but this would be at least a good starting point if you budgeted $2,000 and you have money left over. It's important to at least put some money towards advertising, but don't worry about stretching your wallet just to make this work. So how we're going to divvy this up? We're going to divvy up $150 towards the sponsored products campaign, or 60% of that budget, and then 40% or $100 towards sponsored brands. So that comes out to a daily budget of $10 a day for the sponsored products and about $7 a day for the sponsored brands over 2 weeks. 2 weeks is our launch timeline. That's typically the time that Amazon really judges your listing, for lack of better words. And the more sales that you can have within 2 weeks, 2 to 4 weeks really, you're going to have a better search rank and pop up in the search results organically. All right, let's have some fun, and we're going to start out with creating the sponsored products campaign, and there's a couple of things that we need to do at this point. First, I want you to bring up that spreadsheet that we took a look at before when we were creating our listing content. If you don't have this, just simply go back to the Keyword Scout on Jungle Scout, type in your main search term, golf head cover for me, and then export that into a CSV file. What we want to do now is we want to find our keywords that we're going to target. In other words, say a customer were to type in golf head covers for woods and driver. If they were to type that into here, our ad should pop up in one of these sections here, either here, 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 or here, or potentially down the page. Or if we're running a sponsored brands campaign, it would pop up here. So that's why we want to find keywords that are trending and have high number of searches at a fair PPC price, bidding price, so we can create the most optimal campaign. In order to do that, we want to hide all of the rows that say broad. We want to also hide the 30-day, 90-day trends. I don't care about that right now. The category, the recommended promotions, PPC bid broad, and then relevancy score. So let's hide all of these. And you can hide those as well. All I really want to pay attention to is the 30-day search volume, exact, PPC bid, exact, and then the ease to rank. Now I want to go to the column where it says ease to rank, and I want to filter. Do a quick filter. I only want to look at the ones that are easy, moderate, And then I don't want to look at the ones that are somewhat difficult or very difficult. If that's the case and you were to target those keyword terms or those phrases at a very difficult ease to rank, you're going to spend a much higher amount per bid in order to convert those sales. So we're looking for easy to moderate ones for our campaign. All right. Now what I always do is we want a list of about 20 keywords to start, and then over time we'll optimize that down to maybe just a handful of keywords. So what I'll do is, since these are all bolded, I'll actually take the bold off the ones I want to keep. And the way I make that judgment is that the ones at the top here are in very high demand. So I want to take a look at the demand. I also want to take a look at the PPC bid. This bid right here, this will change depending on what your match type. If you're targeting exactly golf head cover, or if you're targeting the phrase, maybe head cover golf, that will change, and it'll also change on the category you're in the product. So this is never going to look the same for you. A fair price per bid, though, for just a general keyword term usually ranges between 50 cents to $1. And the ones that are more specific that convert a lot of sales, they could be even $2, $3. That's entirely possible. So I am fine looking at all these. These are all between 50 cents to $1, nothing outrageous. So I'm going to go just through the list here from the left side and pick 20 that relate directly to my product, and also having a fair amount here. So I'm going to do this quickly. All right, so I found 20 here. I took the bold off of them, but I'm actually just going to put them into a note here. So I'm going to paste them here. I'm going to remove this table so I can just see the 20 and not all of these gaps in between. Feel free just to paste this into a text file or your Word file or just another sheet in Excel. As long as we can quickly copy and paste them in the future, it doesn't matter where they're at. So now we have 20 here. These are going to be the keywords that we target. And then the next thing we want to do is we want to find competitors to target. So we're going to apply two different strategies. The first strategy in our sponsored products campaign is to target these keyword phrases. And then next, we want to actually put our listing on detail pages of our competitors. To do that, let's type in our niche name. For us, it's golf head cover. And this time I want to find 10 competitor listings, and I'm going to copy the ASIN, which is shown here. If you don't have Jungle Scout, you can click the listing, and in the URL up here, you see this B0 something something. That is the ASIN, so you can copy that there. All right, so there's two different ways of finding the ASIN, and that's what we'll need to actually target. So I'm looking for two different things the criteria when it comes to selecting these targets. One, it's the same or nearly identical product as mine. And two, I'm looking to make sure that the price is either higher than mine after the sales price, or it's right around the same amount. So right now our sales price is around $22 after that 25% discount. So this would be a great one to target. It's a well-known brand name, but the idea is we'd be able to put our listing on this detail page down here, and a customer will say, oh wow, this is an even nicer golf head cover for only $22, even though it's not tailor-made or doesn't have reviews. I'm going to click that one and check it out. So that's the mindset here. So I'm going to take a minute. I'm going to copy 10 of these down, and I'm going to put them back in my notes here. Okay, I've gone through the first listing page, and I copied 10 different ASINs. Make sure they're different. They're not the same ones. And then these are really all the elements we need to go ahead and to create our advertising campaign. So let's head back to Seller Central. Once we're in Seller Central, let's go to the Advertising Campaign Manager to create our campaign. Go to Advertising and then Campaign Manager here, which will take us to an entirely different interface. So now we're not in Seller Central really anymore. We're on advertising.amazon.com or Amazon Ads. And this is where we'll see all of our metrics for how many sales we converted, how much we're spending, impressions, and also the ability to create a campaign. So that's what we're going to start out by doing. We'll click Create Campaign, and then we'll see a common screen here that I took a screen share and put in the slides. These are the 4 different types of campaigns. First, we'll start out with the sponsored products campaign, and then we'll come back and we'll create a second campaign for sponsored brands. It is entirely up to you if you want to run both of these or just one. I do recommend running both, like I've been saying about awareness to conversion. Again, do what you're comfortable with. I don't want to make you do something that you're not necessarily comfortable with. So let's promote our product listing with sponsored products. We'll click Continue here. And the first thing we need to do is to enter an ad group name. Ad groups are different than campaigns. There's a campaign, and then beneath that are multiple ad groups or just one ad group. Ad group is just a subset of or different keywords that you're targeting. It's a way to separate your campaign into some finer elements. So this first ad group, I'm going to put keyword targeting, and then we want to find our product here. So we can see that it's on sale for $22.47. Currently out of stock, but that's okay. We can create this ad campaign, and when it's in stock, it will begin running. So we'll click add next to it. If you can't find it, you can go to enter list and type in your ASIN, but it should be in the search. Next, we'll come down here and we want to select manual targeting. We do not want to go to automatic targeting because that means Amazon's going to find products and keywords to target versus using our list that we created, because we know that's a great list that has high demand at a fair PPC bid price. Okay, we'll scroll down to manual targeting now, and we have two different options, keyword or product targeting. We're going to start out by creating an ad group for keyword targeting. We'll come back and create another ad group within this campaign for product targeting, which is those 10 ASINs that we copied. All right, so keyword targeting. There's suggested ones based on your ASIN. It'll tell you, hey, you should go ahead and target golf driver, for example. You can use those if you don't have Jungle Scout or if you're still looking for more keywords. But what we want to do, since we have a list already, is to go to enter list, go back to our 20 keywords, copy those, and click paste. Now just make sure that you click enter and enter a new keyword, and make sure it's not just one line. Amazon will separate them based on every single line. So it should be 20 here. Another thing to do is the match type. I know I didn't really go into this too much, but I can now. So what it means by match type is, I'm going to go back to Amazon. If I were to target an exact keyword, let's, for example, look at golf club covers. If I'm a customer and I type in golf club covers, and I'm only targeting exact match type, my ad will pop up. However, if the customer types in golf club covers funny, my ad will not pop up because it's not the exact match type. Then you also have phrase match type. So phrase match type, where my ad would pop up, would be if I were to target golf club covers for phrase match type, someone could type in golf covers club and mine would still pop up. The third match type is the broad match type. So if someone just typed in potentially, and again, this is typically how it works for broad match type. This is the most broad one, and so someone could just type in golf club and my ad for that head cover could pop up. The reason I don't like broad match type is because if I'm a customer just typing golf club, I want a golf club. We don't know if I necessarily want a golf head cover or not. So I think it's very important to either use phrase or exact match type only. And I always would side with, when starting out, exact match type, since we know our keywords. So with that being said, now that you understand what it means, we are going to deselect broad and deselect phrase. So we're only left with exact. If you left phrase also selected here, then you'd have 40 different targets. You'd have 20 exact and 20 phrase. That's how that works. Click add keywords. And now all 20 were added, as we can see here, and they all have their suggested bid. Amazon will tell you what the suggested bid is, and it'll put that in there for you, and then also the range. So the fair range for this is between $1.30 and $2.05. If you want to get particular, we could come back here and say, hey, Jungle Scout is estimating that a good PPC bid for exact match type for this is $1.01. Now, I wouldn't go ahead and do that right away. That's something we'll do later on when we optimize. I would leave it at the suggested bid now, and then we'll see later on in about a couple of days what's performing well and what's not, and which ones we can decrease our bid and which ones we need to increase our bid. So that all looks good. Come down here, I'll just touch upon negative keyword targeting briefly. This is the opposite of keyword targeting. These are negative keywords in which your advertisements won't pop up. So let's say I'm selling a white head cover. A good idea would be to add red head covers. So my product doesn't show up when someone types in red head cover because they want a red one and not a white one. The reason why I don't worry about this and the reason why it's optional is if you're only looking at exact match types, that's the only time when your product, your advertisement is going to pop up. So even if someone types in red golf club covers, mine is not going to pop up because someone didn't type in exactly golf club covers. If you are running phrase or broad match types, then you may want to add some things in there. Just give it some thought. All right, now we're on to the campaign. So we want ad group, which is a step down, and now we're at the broader level of the campaign. For the campaign bidding strategy, I would recommend dynamic bids down only. This means that, say we had $1 bid amount for a keyword, but Amazon thought, you know what, they could actually convert the sale based on their algorithm at 75 cents. That means that they would take your bid and only charge you 75 cents and do that in real time. Dynamics bids up and down does the opposite. It may increase your bid by a maximum of 100%. So at $1 bid, it may increase it to up to $2 per bid if it really thinks you're going to convert a sale. I like to keep as much control with my campaigns as I can and not let Amazon have full control and really make those decisions for me. So I'm always been a fan of the down only because in certain instances, it can save you some money. All right, next is adjust bids by placement. So it's very critical that we put our advertisements at the top of the listing page because that's where the bulk of sales come from. What I usually do and what I recommend is putting 25% here. That means that I'm willing to spend 25% more of my bid that I have fixed right now if you were to put me at the top of the listing page. Again, I just have had better results in my own business and with students by adding this 25% here. All right, last item here is let's add the campaign name. I recommend doing what the ASIN, SKU, or title of your product is, so golf head cover, and then I'm going to put SP for sponsored products. Now start date and end date. Now, I recommend doing this over 2 weeks, and what I recommend doing is, you can always change this, is if we know that our inventory is going to be stocked by the 20th, let's start it on the 20th, and then let's run it for 2 weeks. So find December here, and then we'll go to the 11th. So that'll run for 2 weeks. And we'll come back once our inventory is checked in. We can check that in the manage inventory screen. If we need to go ahead and to extend this or to start this sooner, we can go ahead and do that. So remember, for the budget, that was $10 a day for about 2 weeks. This daily budget, this is the amount of money that you're willing to spend on this campaign per day during this time period. Amazon may spend $10 a day, or they may only spend $5 a day. $10, this is the maximum per day. Also keep in mind that they may spend more money one day. They may spend over $10, but they will never spend more than $10 times your duration. So I shouldn't spend more than $140 in this campaign. It's just the way it works. If they spend less one day, they may spend more the second day, just to make up for it. Okay, now we can click Launch Campaign, and we should see our campaign. So these are all the details from our campaign here. And if we go back here to Sponsored Ads on the left-hand side, click Campaign Manager, we will see our campaign at the top here, Golf Head Cover SP. So this is the Sponsored Products campaign. This is the campaign. If we click it, this will take us down to the ad group for that campaign. And remember the keyword target ad group that we just created? Let's go ahead and create a second ad group, which is going to be for our product targets. So we'll click Create Ad Group. And this ad group is going to be the product targets. We'll move a little bit quicker this time. We'll find our product. We will click Add next to it. Now, our campaign bidding strategy is something we already created, so it's just telling us that we can't change it unless we go to the campaign settings. We'll go down to product targeting now, not keyword targeting, and that will change this section here. So we can go ahead, we can just target a category, which is something I didn't mention previously, or we can target individual products, which is something we want to do. For the sake of this, though, I do recommend adding the category. I think it is good to have that on there because it gives you some broader exposure. All right, so click Add there, and we can see it on the right-hand side, and then we'll click Individual Products. Now we will go to Enter List. Since we have our ASINs, we will find that, copy these 10 ASINs, make sure they're separated by a line, which that one is not, and then we'll click Target. All right, so it found all 10 products. There is a chance that there isn't a bid amount or a suggested bid amount. Amazon will put a pop-up in front of you right now and say, hey, what do you want the bid to be? If you're unsure, just look at what all the other bids are and then take the average of that, or just put 50 cents to start out. Again, you can always adjust this later on. All right, and then we will click Create Ad Group. Now we have 2 ad groups running at the same time under one campaign. So we can see here, keyword target and product targets. Now those will run at the same time, and if you want to go back to the campaigns, we can go at the top banner here where it says all campaigns. And then here we go. Here's our one campaign. Now, as this begins to run, you'll begin to see data shown here. This data will share with you the amount that you're spending each day, the number of impressions or views of your advertisement, the number of clicks, meaning a customer clicked your advertisement, and then this CPC is your cost per click. What's the average cost for someone to actually click your advertisement? I would recommend going to the CPC and then type in ACOS for ACOS, and We'll come back to more onto this, obviously, what that means later on when we talk about optimizing our campaigns in step number 12. But just set it up like this for now, and we're good to go with our sponsored products campaign. All right, now the next step is to create our sponsored brands campaign to run in tandem with this sponsored products campaign. To do that, we'll follow very similar steps this time. We'll click Create Campaign, and then we'll find Sponsored Brands here. We'll click Continue. And now it's kind of flopped. So previously we started out with the ad group for sponsored products, and then we went into the campaign. Now we're going to discuss the campaign, some goals, and then also our ad creative. So for the campaign, let's name this Golf Head Cover, and then SB for Sponsored Brands. Start date. Now I want to drive awareness before my products before my sponsored products campaign goes into effect. So I'm going to start this 2 days sooner on November 18th, and the sponsored products will start on November 20th. Still want to run this for 2 weeks. So that will be December 9th when it ends. And then the budget for this was $7 per day. With sponsored brands campaigns, you also have the option to do a lifetime budget. So let's say you just wanted to put in our $100 budget. That gives Amazon more control, though, of how they want to spend that $100, but they won't spend more than $100 by the end of the 9th. I still recommend sticking with the daily and then going with the budget that we talked previously. All right, our brand is here. So you do have to have a brand to use sponsored brands, as the name suggests, and that should already be pre-selected. Goals, we have two different options. Do we want to drive page visits, or do we want to grow our brand impression share? Now, this really doesn't affect too much because this really only affects what Amazon suggests that you do, but you're following this tutorial and you're just going off of what what I'm teaching you. So we'll keep this as drive page visits because we want to drive the customers to our landing page. We're still generating that awareness and consideration with our banner and our video that we're going to put up. So that is still an element, the main element that we're trying to achieve, but it takes us one step further if we can actually get some clicks for our sponsored brands campaigns and even convert sales. It's still a goal, and it's still a great thing if we can convert sales off of this campaign. All right, bidding, we can either do automatic bidding or we can deselect that and put our bidding adjustments. I do allow Amazon to take control of this, and I keep automated bidding. Go down to the ad group. So we'll name this video and SB for sponsored brands. Then we have 3 different ad formats. One could be a product collection. So say you had 3 different products or 4 products. You could actually place all your multiple products in this sponsored brands campaign and show all the customers all your branded products. Does all have to fall under the same brand name, and it's something that you can do in the future. But at this point, you probably only have 1 product, so it doesn't make sense really to do that, nor are you allowed if you don't have 3 or more products. The second option is a store spotlight. So if you create an Amazon store, which is great, once again, when you have many different products, but if you just have 1 product, it really doesn't matter, what your store looks like, or it doesn't really, it's not even compelling to have a store at that point. So that's why I always go with video for new sellers, because it allows you to show the customer the video that we created in the previous step, in step 9, and then it also shows the customer what your product is and the unique advantages and features of it while they're scrolling through the first listing page. So click video. And then for the landing page, keep product detail page selected. Again, we don't need to worry about store until we have multiple products. Go down to products. We will click add next to our golf head cover. And then we'll go down to cost control. Now, cost control, this is a new feature here at the end of 2024. And this allows you to keep your cost per click near or below a desired value. So if you only wanted to spend $1 per click, we can put $1 here. I haven't played around with this enough to really take advantage of it and to understand if it's even worthwhile. So for us at this point, let's just deselect that. We can always come back and create a new campaign focused around that when more successful results come out. All right, targeting. We are going to target keywords for this one. We're not even going to worry about product targeting. We're going to focus on putting our sponsored brands campaign, the video at the top of the listing page or in the middle of the listing page. So just like we did before with the keywords, let's go back here. We are going to target the same keywords for this. Copy those, paste, take off the broad, take off the phrase, and just keep exact for now. Okay, click add keywords, and then also brings up a thing that they do right away. They always put these 2 theme 1 match types. This brings up a good point. They typically add 1 or 2 of these automatically, and these are keywords related to your brand and keywords related to your landing pages. I don't mind keeping these. However, I typically lower them down to the lower suggested range. So $1.92 and $1.92 here. And then what I'll do is, as this campaign progresses, if I see a lot of poor results and it really comes from these two keywords, these themes, I will remove them and just focus on the exact match types shown here. We can scroll down. You know what negative keyword targeting is. We don't have to worry about that. And then we're down to our ad settings, which is our video. So I'm going to put head cover info video, because that's what this is going to be. And here's our ad creative. So this is on the right hand side, shows us the mobile version of what our ad would actually look like. We already have our product selected, so we don't have to worry about doing anything there, but we do have to add the video. So now we can click add video, and you have three different options. One is choose from creative assets, which we will actually use, since at this point you should have already uploaded your video to your listing and it should be stored on your account. Second option, you can upload it from your computer. And third is create using Video Builder. This is an Amazon Ads creative tool, which allows you to create a video using a lot of their templates. So if you don't have a video at this point, or you chose to skip that step in this course, you can also create a free video builder just using images, and Amazon will turn it into a video. Pretty neat stuff. So we'll click choose from creative assets. We will find our video down here, and then we'll click apply. Now we can see our ad creative on the right hand side, and we can see the mute button there. And this just, as someone's scrolling through the mobile version, they can see the product shown here, and then also just a video about it. They click anywhere on here, it's going to take them to the product detail page, and hopefully at that point they'll convert to a sale. All right, we'll click submit for review, and we will be ready to go. All right, now we have our two ad campaigns shown here, our sponsored products and our sponsored brands. Again, we have the sponsored brands starting 2 days before the sponsored products, and also ending 2 days before, and then our daily budgets. You can always change these on the fly very quickly just by clicking them. But if you want to change any more detailed settings, just go ahead and click the campaign. On the left-hand side, we can see campaign settings. All right, so now we have both of our ad campaigns set up. As soon as inventory is stocked and available, these will begin running and/or on that scheduled date that we planned.